Hi guys, my name's Willow and today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about how to create good settings within your story. Where your story takes place is a really important part of your story, although it's not as important in my opinion as your characters and the overall story. You don't need to describe an entire room in tiny minute details. Your story is not an interior design magazine. The idea with settings is to give a brief overall view of the room, the house, restaurant, whatever you're in, but not to overwhelm your reader. You want to give just enough information to start conjuring up an image in your reader's mind, but to allow their imagination to take over. You don't want to bore them with 1,000 little details. Take this room for example. An example of what not to do would be something like this. The room was small, very small, too small for her tastes. The sofa was a grey colour, large and boxy, with a darker grey pillow in a corner. In front of the sofa was a coffee table with a slatted top on which a magazine, a pot and a small tablecloth had been placed. This table sat on top of a large brown rug which covered the shiny black floorboards. The walls were white, as were the curtains either side of the large window, which spilled light into the room. A black picture frame rested against the wall between the couch and the window in a corner. The picture itself was a white background with black dots all over it, which made up the image. A small table and one chair sat off to the side in front of the couch and the window. The tabletop was round and white, very shiny, its surface catching the light. The table legs were rounded and made of light blonde wood that matched the coffee table. The chair that went with it had a white plastic seat and metal legs that reminded her of a fold-up camping chair. Do you know what? I was bored even reading that out, and believe me, that was even harder to write. Let's look at this picture again. If I was describing this room in a book, I'd keep it simple. The room was small but light and airy. Warm sunlight shone through a large window reflecting off the white walls, creating an illusion of space. She'd made the most of the available space by carefully choosing her furniture. The room contained nothing more than a small table with a single chair, a comfy looking couch with a coffee table in front of it. Nothing more is needed. We now know the basic layout of the room, and if you want or need to show other details, you can, of course, but my advice would be to let your characters show them. Have your character wander around the room and maybe pick up or examine something, or have it catch their eye. The thing to remember is the importance of objects. If you want to use an object later as a plot point, then make sure that it's been mentioned before, but do not bury it in amongst 100 other meaningless trinkets. Your reader is not going to remember it, and then they're going to be like, oh, so her ashes were in that urn the whole time. What urn? The thing to remember is that simplicity is the way to go. The same rule of simplicity can be used for pretty much any setting. A restaurant would need like a brief mention of maybe the ambience, the type of food, and maybe the size and the seating. So, for example, the restaurant he'd chosen turned out to be a lovely little family-run Italian, tucked neatly down a side street just off the main high street. She pushed open the door and stepped inside. Immediately she was engulfed in a pleasantly warm fog of freshly baked bread, garlic and warm wax, which dripped from the candles that glowed in the centre of each table. She wound her way through the small scattered tables to the booth at the back, where he sat waiting, an open bottle of wine and 2 glasses in front of him. Now you have the image of a small side street, quiet little Italian. The atmosphere is cosy and inviting, and the setting is intimate with candlelight and wine. Perfect place for a romantic date. In my first book, my male lead, who's a vampire, runs a club. He took advantage of the fascination with vampires in popular culture and how popular they are and how much everyone loves them, and his club reflects that. Once inside, she looked around in amazement. The inside of the club looked like a really cool Halloween party. The walls matched the exterior. Red walls and black paintwork. Framed pictures of movie vampires adorned the walls and plastic bats hung from the ceiling. Curtains hung from the walls, and she suspected that they led to private rooms. I didn't need to go into major details. I didn't need to describe every tiny little thing. We all know what Gothic is. We all know what kind of atmosphere a club has. And we now know that the place has private rooms where someone could sneak off to without us having to describe the rooms ourselves. The mistake that many writers make is treating their reader like they're stupid. Feeling that they need to spell out every single thing and to spoon feed it to them in tiny little details. It's just tiresome and it's boring to read, and your readers will skip it. They will skip ahead. They'll just be like, don't need this. So have a go at describing the room around you, or think of a place that you visited recently and try to describe it in your writing from memory. Just write a little piece about it and try and describe it, and really get used to noticing little details, but also noticing what details you don't need. Okay, keep it simple, keep it real. So until next time, blessed be and happy writing.